My next guest has been saying for months that Tyler Robinson will be acquitted of the murder of Charlie Kirk because the case has never made sense. Lionel Nation, Lionel
That's
Nation from the Lionel Nation YouTube channel. Now, you've called this one all along. This conspiracy has turned out to be panning out in your favor. So lay it out for us how this case is imploding.
First of all, we'll see. We'll see. Number one, little provisos here. I have nothing. I don't know who this Tyler Robinson is. I don't know who he is. I have nothing. I'm not for him, against anybody, because everybody thinks that, there's some reason, some conspiracy yourself. No. I'm just a lawyer sworn to uphold the Constitution. And this case sounded a little odd at first. Here are the two best parts of this. I don't care about YouTube talk. People are saying, was it Mossad? That's not going to come up. Could it have been Erica? It's like, what are you talking about? Here is the thing. The state of Utah has to prove beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt that Tyler Robinson killed with malice aforethought, premeditation, our friend, Mr. Kirk, probably with a rifle or with a hand or something, because they have to specify how. I can't say, for example, that Natali Morris killed somebody. How? No, I got to tell you how. Excuse me, and when. Now, when the jury goes back into the jury room, they're going to say, okay, now what's the evidence? Two things. Confession to the parents and the gun. Okay, let's talk about the confession to the parents. Did he really confess? Well, maybe. What do you mean? Well, if you read the statement he made to his Discord pals and his gay lover, the guy with the fuzzy hat, it's the strangest confession ever. Like, well, I was there. Hey guys, it's me. I don't even understand what he's trying to say. Okay, that didn't really count. To the parents, they're going to say that he basically confessed to the father. What may come out is that they can say, well, he didn't really confess. What he wanted to do was to turn himself in because somebody told him, look, you better turn yourself in because you're going to get your head blown off by some cop who was going to serve a warrant in the middle of the night. And if you scratch your butt the wrong way, you're going to get plugged. So turn yourself in. So who knows what this confession was. It's a little shaky. I don't understand it. I heard there was individual folks who were saying in the courtroom that the parents are going to contest it. We don't know. It's weird because here's the thing, Natalie. If the police say, oh, you confess to the parents, good, then you're going to confess to us. How many times have you seen YouTube videos where the person sitting in this in this blank, empty police room with this metal table, and you sign this, and did you do this, and would you sign this, and you have the right to remain silent, and you're waiving that right, and nobody threatened you in any way or promised you anything, you're not being coerced, sign this, ta-da! Don't know where that is. And believe me, they would have told you this. The police want to tell you, we got him. So that's weird. So you know what? I'll say, okay, I'll go ahead and I'll say, I'll let you allow that one, because if I get my way, they're going to suppress that confession or whatever that thing was, or do a motion in limine, meaning I don't want you to mention it. But let's assume it comes in. All right, fine. Here's the best part. What did he shoot him with? The Mauser 98, the 30-06. The Mauser 98 is the model. The 30-06 is the round. Okay. How are you going to connect this to anything? Well, don't know. The bullet doesn't match. Now, you see this? This is a lint brush.
Yep.
This doesn't match either. You know why? It had nothing to do with it. So they can say, well, you see, Natalie, sometimes these bullets, they will flatten, and it's not unnatural for the bullets not to match. Great. So you can't match it. And if you can't match it, you can't bring up the rifle. Now, another thing they're going to do is they said he had his DNA on it. It's his rifle.
Can I ask you a follow-up question about
please.
the bullet? Because what the
Please.
defense is saying is that the government has refused to acknowledge the mismatch or has not properly tested or has not acknowledged this mismatch. So it's
they've acknowledged it. It's not connected. It's
they
not
know
connected.
for sure that it's not because we know this from the defense. We don't know this from the government. The government is still holding their case that we think it's this guy still, the confession is still hearsay because it's not in the indictment. We haven't seen
Wait. Oh, no, wait. First, number one, the state is going to say they have a duty, an absolute duty under a Supreme Court case called Brady against Maryland. They have to tell the defense. If it didn't match, if there's anything that is considered exculpatory, anything that you can use in your defense, they have to tell you or the case gets thrown out. So they're not holding back anything. No, they have to tell you. It's a match or it's not. So anyway, that's step number one. Going back to the first one, it's not hearsay because, believe it or not, let me explain this. You're spot on. It would be hearsay, except that it is an exception. The hearsay rule has 50,000 exceptions to it. Think about this. What is a confession? It's hearsay. It's an out-of-court statement, meaning it's not under oath, made to somebody else that's being brought into court. I'm the police officer. He admitted doing it. We hear about admissions all the time and confessions all the time. In fact, we want you to confess. In fact, if he did confess, theoretically, you would say, well, isn't that hearsay? No, because it's an exception, because it's an admission. Who in their right mind says that they committed a crime or killed somebody if they didn't do it? So because it's reliable, it's not
But he
hearsay.
didn't sign a confession when he turned himself in. The indictment says that his family members and this sheriff family friend heard it. And so they talked him into it. So we actually have no proof that it ever came out of his own mouth.
Not in an indictment. In an indictment or in a charging instrument, they don't go into detail. They don't tell you how this stuff happens. You get that later on.
But it does say, the indictment reads like bad fiction. It's like the mom's watching TV and she says, hey, that looks like our son on the TV. And the dad says, yeah, that does look like our son. And then they call the friend and like, hey, that guy looks like our son. What should we do about it? It's the dumbest thing. It's like bad fiction.
Well, it's sloppy. But here's the thing. Let's assume later on that if he were to say, Mom, Dad, I killed him. I killed Charlie Kirk. That could come in. Absolutely. Because it is an admission. It's a confession. And that is an exception to the hearsay rule.
But we don't know if the parents are telling the truth. We don't know if the sheriff who now has retired is telling the truth.
That's what the trial's for. And that's what deposition is for. And that's what discovery is for. And that's why you're going to get a chance to talk to the parents and say, now tell us exactly what you said. They could say, I never said any of that. I was talking about him turning himself in. They misunderstood. Who knows? So remember, the indictment is very bare bones. It's just to get you in. It's like anything else. Later on, you'll flesh it out.
It reads like a Twilight novel.
Oh yeah, but that's okay. But here's the thing later. But here's the best part. We have this rifle that they cannot connect. I don't give a damn if it's because there's the metal in the bullet or the lead was deformed. I don't care what the reason is. Can you connect this? No. Number one. Number two, here's the best part. They had the weapon, the rifle that was left out. And it was left out or somehow was found after they sent in these gun-sniffing dogs that can smell a fish fart, pardon my French. And they are so good at this. So they're looking around and they said, where is it? They go, oh, here it is. So somebody suggested, it's planted. Well, there's another theory of this. The reason why they didn't detect it was because it wasn't fired. There's no residue for it to pick up. So we've got a gun. So we've got a rifle that doesn't match and wasn't fired. Next, did any of you do a GSR, a gunshot residue test on this guy? Now, I don't know, hours later, the next day, it might not have worked, but somebody would have said, I wonder if there's anything on his clothes. If you fired this, you have blowback, you have it on your clothes and your cheek, and we don't even know about this. So, you have a rifle. Remember, you're in this jury room, and they say, what do we have? We have a rifle that cannot be connected to him, that has his fingerprints on it or DNA. It's his. That's no big deal. And 5 other people or so. I wonder who those people are. Anyway, it's not connected to the wound, not connected to Charlie, not connected to anything, and it probably wasn't even fired. So most probably, there's a very good chance it may not even be introduced because it will be suppressed. So therefore, the jury is going to go back, and what do they have? Maybe they've got a confession. A confession to what? They're going to say, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we want you to find Tyler Robinson guilty because he confessed to killing his Charlie Kirk to his parents. That's it. With what? We can't tell you. How did he do it? We can't tell you. Why? Because there's no way. We can't talk about the gun or the rifle because the judge suppressed it. This is not guilty. They're going to say, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Now, then you're going to get into the other things. Now we get into the really good. First of all, they always say, Natalie, never have your client testify. Never, 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 never. Okay, you're right. And this time I say, listen, kid, you're going to testify because we got nothing to lose here. And first of all, why? I want to show the jury how stupid you are. I want you to get up there, start talking about that, and say, listen, Tyler, did you do this? Yes or no? If he says, no, I didn't. I was going to. I wanted to. I was mad at him. Is that your rifle? I didn't bring a rifle. Who brought that rifle? I don't know. Where did he have that rifle? Down in his pants? Did he take it apart? Put it together again?
How did he do the narrative. That was initially the government narrative. Yes.
Yeah, this guy is up there for the first time. Now, then I'm going to get, let's say, for example, this is my dream. I'm going to have a witness list you can't believe. 200 people. And the first one I'm going to do is, let's assume I've got some Marine sniper, some guy retired, gunnery sergeant. He's an expert in this. And I'm going to say, Sergeant or retired, did you try to replicate this shot? I sure did. How was it? Harder than you think. And I know what I'm doing. Could you use this rusty relic Mauser 98 30-06 to pull this shot off? Do you know what it takes? He said to zero in the scope, and the scope's a piece of garbage. And he did this for the first time. His breathing, he got up there, he did the reconnaissance. You've got to get, and before you do this, to pull this off, you just can't pull a rifle and shoot. He's there to make sure he balances it. Nobody else was hit. Nobody was shot. How did he do this? I don't know. Could you do it? Barely. And can you then take your gun, take a screwdriver after you're done, break this gun apart, take it down, and then put it back together again because they found it intact, wrapped in something? How many times did he take it apart? And then he tells his girlfriend, boyfriend, lover, gay, whatever, and says, would you go get this for me? That's granddaddy's shooting iron. Now think about this. What if Clayton goes and he does this and he says, hey, hon, do me a favor. Would you go back to that murder scene where everybody's looking, right, where all the drones are there? Can you go get this rifle and walk out with it? Because and not be caught, because you know what? My grandfather's going to kill me if he. I mean, this story is crazy. Now, then we're going to get into this one. Then we're going to find out, give me the medical examiner's report. What's in his neck? What did you find? The official narrative is that this 30-06 hit either his cervical C2, 3, whatever it was.
Right. And then
I'm going to have every witness, I'm going to say, his head didn't blow up? His head didn't vaporize?
Yeah.
What? No. Don't you understand, Natalie? He lived so strong, and his lifestyle and his diet, that his bones were like titanium. It hit the bullet, and the bullet shattered, and it went down into his. It's like, what? And this little hole here, not a little hole, it hit a gusher. Candace Owens had I saw a video on her show where or others had it, I guess, a scene from behind him. There's no exit wound.
Yes.
Nothing. So I'm going to say, okay, let me see the medical examiner's report. What did you recover? Let me see this. What is it? Is it metal? Is it plastic? Because there's a lot of other theories out there. I don't know, but people have talked about exploding mics and a variety of other things. If this jury is going to sit back and say, what am I doing here? I've got a guy who confessed to something. I've got a guy who, and by the way, all of this shooting, if there's no rifle, if it is suppressed, we don't talk about rifles. We don't talk about shooting. Do you know what it's like to hear, you're hearing this sniping, this murder case, where you can't talk about the shooting?
Right.
What are you talking about? He's confessing to something. This case is a dog. I don't know. And it's turning more and more into it. But they're doubling down. All these people.
If you were the prosecutor, you now have no weapon. You have...
may have no ambition or confession. Yeah. May.
Right. And so are you going to just keep with your case and be like, I hope for the best? What would you do? Or would you say, hey, we need some more research?
Yeah.
Now we have a government official on record from National Intelligence, Joe Kent, saying we were not allowed to continue to investigate when we had looming questions. So if you're the prosecutor, what do you do with those two major problems? I mean, they're kind of big.
Yes. And first of all, to get past a motion to dismiss, where before we do this, the judge is going to say, Prosecutor Morris, what are you doing? What are you wasting my time for? Now, of course, this is a case of renown. Nobody's going to do this. But most judges would say, why did you file this? What are you doing here? Now, let's get really crazy. Let's assume that in my defense, part of it is that the police didn't do enough. And I'm going to call to the witness, Erica Kirk. Why? Because I want to show that she never gave enough information, that they never even came to her, and I'm going to get the TPUSA people, and I want them to see this. Have you seen Erica Kirk? Erica Kirk can't answer her name without incurring the wrath of 90% of America. She can't do it. I've never seen anybody who has the effect of, she's just not believed. It's the strength, and I don't think she's a bad person. I just don't think she exists. I don't think she knows what she is. So anyway, if you had this list of luminaries and all of these people, one after another, that jury's going to say, this is ridiculous. Then I'm going to find out who was the person who paved this over. Wouldn't it be great if this is a crime scene. How did this happen? And then we're going to, now later on, Joe Kent said, why can't we do this? Why can't we investigate? And they said, we can't, or we'll shut this down. Can you imagine Kash Patel taking the stand? Why was Kash Patel even there in the first place? Why was he talking about the hospital? What was this, the Parkland Hospital? Why is he there?
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to sit there and look at this guy. Now, I got to know, were you there? What were you doing there? Is that you on the roof? What if he said, for all we know, because he doesn't look like much, but if he said, I never was on that roof. How do we know this? I never shot anything. I couldn't do it. I didn't have a rifle. I was there. I don't like him, but I didn't do that. And how do I know I wasn't there? Because they never fired it. Because the dogs would have found it. That rifle, how did it get there? I don't know. I don't know how it was wrapped up. So if he says, look, you can think of whatever you want of me. I didn't do this. Well, then again, what about this? Well, did you confess? I didn't confess. Then I get one of my I don't want to say nerd, but let's say I get one of my tech guys who go to Discord and say, can you legitimize it? Not legitimize. Can you authenticate this strand or this stream? They said no. And I'm going to get one of my tech folks and I'm going to say, look at these text messages. How
Yeah.
do I know where they're from? I could come up with anything. You know, there's a thing you might have heard. It's called Chat GPT. Hell, I can make anything I want.
Yes.
Who who are these people? And who says, by the way, look underneath the keyboard. Oh, look at this. There's a note. Using words and phrases. I mean, the
That
case
was destroyed. That was, yes. That
stinks. The
that was
case
suspiciously destroyed.
stinks.
Yeah.
And also, let me say this, and let me be not in any way reckless, and be very careful what I'm saying. If ever somebody really needed to be protected, it's Tyler Robinson. Because if he is Epstein or whatever you want to call it, and he one morning, to the chagrin and the dismay and the horror of everybody, if he doesn't wake up, this case is over. And all this is moot. And we don't have to worry about this anymore. And we can go on doing what we did before and say, oh, well, he was crazy. He was a little weird. And nobody will ask any questions.
So
Nobody will do
you're saying, wait. You're saying the government would give up and be like, well, we thought that was the guy, so we're not gonna go look for anybody else. We were satisfied.
That's another thing.
That's
I'm
crazy.
glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up. Do you know how many people call up and confess to things? Did you know during the Lindbergh case, that where they said we're gonna fry whoever does this, there were hundreds of people who said, I did it. I did it. During the Boston Strangler case, people admitted. So I would say to the detective or whatever it was, if did you forget anybody else who did this? Well, yeah. If I walked in to the Utah Police Department and said, I did it, here, arrest me. Do you have any evidence of it? Well, you don't have any evidence of him either. Do you have a gun? You don't have a gun with him either. Why didn't you listen to me? Why didn't you follow up on any of those others? What was about this man that was so important to you? Why? And you think somebody would have said, this case is too, but look how they're fighting. Look how the TPUSA people are going on the Charlie Kirk show, which I think is a blasphemy, to always talk about this. He's got to be guilty. What about the fact that Erica immediately said, I forgive you. I forgive you. And he said, forgive what? Don't forgive me. Don't. I didn't do it. How do you know I didn't do anything? Well, I forgive you. Then she files a motion in an advisory capacity. Oh, and by the way, yeah, we'd like you to speed this up so we can get through with it. So she just wants this done. And anybody who shows any kind of question as to his guilt is somehow a conspiracy theorist. We're getting that routine again. So let's just wrap this thing up. There may be no confession. And if there is a confession, there's sure as hell going to be no rifle because it's not connected to anything. Whatever the reason, if I say this is a sample and I'm going to do a urine test to see if somebody's pregnant, and if it comes out negative, I'm not going to say, well, sometimes sometimes they get false positives. Well, so what? Well, I know, but no, it says negative. What are you talking about? Yeah, but it might have been. No, excuse me. There's no such thing as might have. The test says negative. An x-ray says the bone is not broken. Well, sometimes, no, you don't understand. The rifle is not connected. I've got to be able to tell the jury something. You're asking me what? What's the basis for it? Just because maybe that would be a nifty rifle that one would use had there been evidence of it being shot? I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah. So I want to ask what we may or may not ever know, because if the prosecutor is going to continue with this case, having no confession and no reliable weapon, we could possibly see the medical report because that's been.
Oh, you're going to
hidden
see
from
no
us.
matter. You're going to see no matter what. Oh, that is.
We will see
I mean,
this.
everything.
Okay.
Now, you know where the truth is going to come from? From YouTube, from people like you and me, from others. By the way, some of the best investigators I have ever seen on various YouTube shows and platforms. Incredible.
Yeah.
Because Natalie, years ago, there are people who sit back. I don't know where these people have been. They are some of the most diabolically genius people who are able to just sit back and go through things. Let me tell you something. there's also individuals who took SD cards out, and there are other things. And there's another group of people who are going to be saying, listen, this case may have fallen apart in terms of the state prosecution, but we want to go elsewhere. Remember, there's four issues here. Number one is the crime itself. Number two is the identity of the culprit, of the assailant, whatever. The third is the motivation, and people really want to know that. And number fourth, there's this thing, the gift to all of us called Erica Kirk, who came out of nowhere, who is just, I mean, I don't know what it is. Joey Suzu meets Tammy Faye Baker meets, I don't know what this is.
Yes, it's confusing.
It's incredible. This will keep going on because we've never seen. Remember, during OJ, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have anything. We didn't have social media. Right. This is going to be crowdsourced. This enters a new level of this. And remember, I'm not saying he's innocent or anything. I'm just saying our goal is, can you prove that he's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? And if you can, if anything in that chain falls, he is acquitted. He's not guilty. Not innocent, not guilty. That's the difference.
Have we ever had a case like this before where the government is giving such a terrible indictment, the person gets off, and then that person can do interviews and say, this is what happened to me. I'm innocent of this.
You better believe. Well, not so much. Let me tell you something. If this were any other case, it'd be a dog. It would be punted. They would say, we're not going to file this. This is a joke. I can't even. I'm not going to waste anybody's time because the judges get very upset.
That tells me again that the real killer is under no pressure whatsoever of real investigation.
That's called a patsy. That's the way you do it. That's what Lee Harvey Oswald was. You get some schmo who's there, and we don't know why. Maybe somebody who's going to be there in the first place, and you do the real thing. Put it this way. Tyler Robinson may have been involved in a conspiracy with people he doesn't know, which by definition can't be a conspiracy because he can't conspire. Because somebody may have said, we'll take care of this. What if I found out? What if we found out that, you're not going to believe this, but in this wound, we found shards of plastic. Oh, you mean like from a microphone or something else? I don't know. But how do we know? And you need somebody who comes in there and says, really goes through this and says, oh no, we're not done with this. Just because you couldn't acquit him, don't think we're going to go bye-bye. Who did this? Because the bottom line is this. Charlie Kirk was a very important person. And I don't remember anybody in my life, a young person who has done so much to change. He was the voice of a new, either conservatism, evangelical conservatism, Republican Party, whatever it was. He was critical. And somebody wanted him off in person. They wanted the message to be sent out. They could have just dispatched him easy. He wasn't under there. They could have just, it could have been a botched robbery or something. But just like with the case of that Jeffrey guy in Manhattan, they wanted it in front of everybody. They want to teach you a lesson. This is what happens. But who is this person? Now, we can go through the list of suspects. Who is it? Whatever. That, pick whatever you want.
Well, that's not your expertise. What you're saying here is the government's making a crap case. They know it, and they're not trying to investigate further. And that's...
And it still could end. They still could say, you know what, based in the interest of justice, we'll just file a nolle prosequi, a null pros. We'll just dismiss it because we just can't go forward. That's it. Mm-hmm. End of discussion. And then
it's for us to say, well, then who really did it? And they're like, I don't know. We're not that worried, I guess.
Precisely.
We had a guy. Yeah. So that's where we are right now.
Indeed.
It's infuriating.
No, it's fascinating because this is our system at work. It's not, this is the greatest, this is criminal justice meets crowdsourcing, meets us. And here's the thing. Listen, if Tyler Robinson did it, fine, get him. I don't care. Sure. I don't care who he is. Don't even tell me his name. Just tell me what the evidence is. Let me be like a pilot who's instrument rated. I don't know where I'm going. This says I'm going south. I can't see anything. This says you got some guy here and there's a rifle that you can't connect. What? What does that mean? There's never a question. You always have. See, this is weird. This This is not like an OJ case where you know OJ did it, but you don't know how he can prove it. Here, we really don't know what happened. In all of the other assassination tapes cases, they get the guy, like in Butler, they get him right away. There's no doubt. This is a different story. And this was done in front of so many people. And by the way, the millions and perhaps billions of dollars in what happens. Because this, let me tell you something. Whoever thought they could remove him, whoever thought TPUSA and the movement continues, this is serious. So that part of it will continue later on. Whereas independent sleuths like you and me and others will figure out who's who, the Joe Kents and others. But for purposes, the admission and the rifle, if either or both of those are thrown out or held to be unreliable, that's it. There's no case. Period. Yeah. There's no eyewitness. And the confession, I'm dying to see. Tell me precisely, and I want to hear those parents on the stand. What did he tell you? And if perchance Tyler would take the stand himself and say, I never said that. Oh my God. I mean, just to see the defendant on the stand never happens. Except in a criminal case, it does in a civil case. So we will see.
Right. All right. Well, we'll talk about it more later when we get more. But, again, conspiracy theorists are batting 1,000 on this one because we knew all along that the gun story didn't match. So, okay.
When in Rome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right. The Lionel Nation YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed because you get more fun stuff like this. It's good to see you. Been a while.
Good to see you. All the best.